Hello and welcome to the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series presented by the American Trucking Association. Tonight's race, the NASHVILLE'S Next with Benny 200 from Dover International Speedway. NASHVILLE'S Next with Benny is located out of Wilmington, Delaware. It's a weekly spotlight on country music artists around the world, from Jimmy Allen to Priscilla Block, Ian Munsick to Cooper Allen, and many more. NASHVILLE'S Next features in-depth interviews covering the rise through the industry, the road to stardom, and what's in store next. It's the stars of tomorrow today. NASHVILLE'S Next with Benny. You can learn more about them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Benny on the Radio. And glad to have them on board for tonight's race. You can use the command !NNWB for NASHVILLE'S Next with Benny to hear more about them. We just put that in the chat for you guys to check out. I want to welcome you all to tonight's race, the beginning of round 2 of the playoffs in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. Looking forward to some exciting action here from the Monster Mile, which can claim a lot of victims. This 1 mile concrete oval in Dover, Delaware is so tricky to master. Basically like diving down into a canyon when you go down into these corners. Few drivers can figure it out. Some will not figure it out here tonight, and we'll see Miles, the monster, claim a few. 200 lap race, equivalent to 200 miles, and we'll have stage breaks at lap 50 and lap 100, and then the final stage going to the end of the race, lap 200. So that's about it for the race information. Let's take a look at the points as they wrapped up round number 1 in the playoffs. Keith Mayato led the charge through the first round. He got 2 victories. AJ Stravato with a victory in there as well. And then Seth Hatchell, Ryan Gemmel, Mark Emerson, Dallas Sullivan, Chris Samard, Safe Ferris, Eric Hutton, Dennis Faircloth, Nick Gardner, Tony Baird, all making it into the round of 12. The 4 drivers eliminated, you can see on your screen right there in red. Those are going to be Josiah Vincent, Jeremiah Vincent, Timmy Emanuele, and Nick Starling. So those guys not going to be able to move on to the next round. They'll be here in the race tonight. And another driver in the race tonight sporting a very special paint scheme. Trying to get a good view of it. But that is going to be Eric Lambert sporting a scheme in memory of a friend of his from Simulators Anonymous who tragically was taken from us early. And I'm going to see if I can find what Eric said about him. And we'll see if we can get a good view of that race car as they get into the qualifying session. The drivers there wrapping up practice. And we'll see when they get out onto the racetrack what kind of qualifying times they put in. Only a few jumping onto the track early. And we'll wait for the number 3 car of Eric Lambert to get a good shot of that when we can and tell the story of Eric's friend Ethan. But Safe Ferris, who had a pretty strong run at Daytona last week, won a stage there and finished up on the podium right behind his teammate in Keith Mayato. And he has another one here tonight. Dale Glessner making another start for Team Red Speed. As he's on the track now trying to get a qualifying lap in. It looked like Ryan Gemmel was quickest, I believe, in the practice session. So look for that number 6 car to have some good qualifying speed tonight. Right now, Safe Ferris to the top of the board. Also, Nathaniel Ostrowski out here on the racetrack. Dennis Faircloth, Dallas Sullivan, and quite a few others making their way onto the track. And we're getting word from Mark Emerson that there could be some issues with temperatures, and yeah, we do have a couple spam chatters in here. We'll see if we can get them out of the way. All right, and they are gone as sometimes rolling in. Keith Mayato, last week's winner, two-time winner from round 1. He is looking like he's in good shape right now to potentially continue on with that momentum. Currently sitting on top of the board with the pole time. AJ Stravato now rolling out onto the racetrack. Sorry for the quick pause there as we were trying to get some spam chat out of Twitch. As Stravato getting up to speed. Stravato, the only other winner in round 1 of the playoffs, and 4-time winner this season. Actually, it might be up to 5 times now. We'll have to go back through and do the count again. But definitely leading the way in terms of race victories. And Stravato on lap number 1 here. He's going to slow up just a bit. And he's actually going to take a tow, so lap time not going to count. Not sure what the role of that decision is. But we already have 15 drivers with a lap time. And Ryan Gemmel on lap number 2. He's trying to get a hot lap in. 21.574. That'll be good for 3rd quick. He'll knock Safe Ferris down to the 4th position. It's a V-Speed trio at the top of the standings. Mark Emerson, who's here watching, waiting at the end of pit lane. AJ Stravato pulling back out here to attempt another set of laps. Jeremiah Vincent rolling on the racetrack as well. Jordan Shepler getting a lap time in. Not sure if that's his quick time. Looks like it's his only lap attempt. As Stravato across the start-finish line. This should be his first qualifying attempt. That will actually count. And Jeremiah Vincent, I believe, the only other driver on track. Mark Emerson is kind of creeping off of pit lane. So here comes Stravato across the line. 21.583. Actually going to show as a 21.6. Going to put him 5th on the board. Not quite the pole time I'm sure he was looking for, but a very good lap nonetheless. Jeremiah Vincent going to try and match a time like that, as he currently sits 13th out of 18 drivers. And on lap number 2, looking to improve out of turn number 4, right up against the outside wall. He'll improve by 1/10 of a second and gain a position. He'll bump Nick Starling down to the 13th spot. Mark Emerson up to speed. 21.798 for lap number 1. He'll be in 10th position right behind Seth Hatchell, trying to improve on lap number 2. I know the setup for this car is a little bit tail happy, especially when you're really pushing it. And really loose out of the corner there. Still able to improve. He'll go to 6th on the board with a sliding exit to turn 4 like that. And I don't think we'll be able to get a view of Eric Lambert's car for that tribute until really the start of the race. I'm not sure if he's having some issues here, but has not qualified yet. We do have the announcements coming over the intercom here. That's different. I didn't know they did that. But again, want to thank tonight's sponsor, Nashville's Next with Benny, radio program located in Wilmington, Delaware. So right around the corner from the racetrack here in Dover. And I want to thank them for sponsoring tonight's race. We're going to hear a couple of quick messages from some of our other sponsors. And we'll be right back with the starting grid.
Hey, honey.
It's happening. The baby's coming.
Okay, I'm on the way.
Hey, buddy. You ready for the big game?
You're gonna be there, right, Dad?
You can count on me. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hey, honey. Josh's flight landed early. He'll be about 6:30. Can you make it?
Okay. I'm on my way. We've got total gridlock out there this afternoon.
The average American spends over 40 hours a year, nearly 2 full days, stuck in traffic on our broken roads and bridges, while our lives move full speed ahead. It doesn't have to be this way.
Where is he?
Husband's on his way.
It's time for Washington to get America moving again by finally funding our country's infrastructure.
Where's Mom?
Tell Washington to fund America's infrastructure, because life won't wait.
Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors. Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn one. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey. V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow podcast, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Listen to Nick and Joe discuss all the latest on-track action, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. V-Speed is also proud to present the 2021 Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, brought to you by the American Trucking Association, starting January 14th, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at twitch.tv/vspeedsim. Back at the track now, just wrapping up qualifying for the NASHVILLE'S next with Benny 200 from Dover. The final times coming in. There we go. Let's take a look at where your favorite drivers are starting in tonight's event. And as always, cheer them on in the chat. Let them know you're out there. And we'll try and follow along with them throughout the race. Let's take a look at the starting grid here tonight. Keith Mayato going to be the pole sitter. Continuing with that momentum from the last race in round number 1, where he captured the win and able to capture the pole here tonight, 21.508. His teammate Chris Simard going to be starting from the outside of row number 1 in the number 37 machine. Great lap time from Chris as well. Ryan Gemmel, another V-Speed driver, up here in the top 3. He'll be rolling off third. Safe Ferris, their satellite team affiliate, going to be rolling off from the 4th position for Team Red Speed. AJ Stravato going to be alongside his LDR teammate Mark Emerson, the LDR teammates here in row number 3. Eric Hutton and Alan Dice going to be starting 7th and 8th in tonight's race. Eric looking for a bit of a shift in momentum in round number 2 of the playoffs. Dale Glessner returning for another race. He's going to roll off from the 9th position, and Seth Hatchell going to be starting in the 10th spot here tonight. He's a 2-time winner and one of his better tracks here at Dover. Dennis Faircloth starting 11th. Dennis Steele starting in 12th. 13th is Jeremiah Vincent. Nick Starling going to be rolling off from the 14th position. Lane Sulfridge starting in 15th. Nick Gardner, a winner earlier this season, rolling off from 16th. He is in round number 2 of the playoffs. Dallas Sullivan as well in the playoffs in 17th on the grid. Lyle Sulfridge starting in 18th. 19th is Jordan Shepler, and Eric Lambert going to be rounding out the top 20. Let's see if we can go find Eric's car here. We were talking about it a bit earlier, and we'll get a better look at it here as they get moving. 21st tonight on the grid, Nathaniel Ostrowski. 22nd, Timmy Emanuele. 23rd, Justin Carey. 24th, Kyle Payne. 25th, Jordan Brackell. And smaller field here tonight. 25 drivers, but still pretty good size field nonetheless. And should be a really entertaining race from the Monster Mile. Tonight's weather, let's take a quick look at it. 71 degree air temp, 79 degree track temp, so it should be plenty of grip, relatively speaking, as the drivers get rolling off of pit lane and up to speed. It's going to be a fun one here tonight. But Eric Lambert running a very special memorial paint scheme for his friend Ethan, a member of Simulators Anonymous, good sponsor of the league, and good friends of V-Speed. Want to tell a little bit of the story here. Ethan was a great person to be around, always would make sure you were smiling even on your worst day. If you needed anything, he would try his best to help you out. The car is dedicated to him, and he will be missed by the Simulators Anonymous community and the Nonstop RP community, where he was very active. The car was put together by the help of people at Nonstop RP, and hope he likes it looking down from above. As we are about to get going, it is Keith Mayato, green flag in the air, and a really good start for the 36 down low. He'll be able to clear his teammate in Chris Samard and drive away here through turns 1 and 2. Really good jump on the initial start, and Ryan Gemmel going to move to second now as well. So Chris Samard, that high line not working out on the initial get-go, but he gets back in line now in front of Safe Ferris, and we'll see if the 48 of AJ Stravato has anything to say for that second position as they work down the back straightaway on lap number 2. And Mark Emerson right there in the wings in case these two somehow find contact, but early on, I'd expect everyone to give plenty of room and be very respectful. Racing to lap 50 for the end of the stage. Still plenty of laps left to make your move as we have just gotten started. Keith Mayato hanging on to that race lead as the field single filed out behind. Dennis Faircloth kind of leading or tailing the lead pack here in the 11th position. A little ways back to Nick Gardner, who's trying to hold off Jeremiah Vincent. Dennis Steele here in the mix as well, as we've got a car, looked like it kind of slipped down the racetrack. I think that was Safe Ferris, but he's able to hang on to it and stay out in front of Eric Hutton. And AJ Stravato now taking second position away. He makes the move to the inside of Ryan Gemmel, and he'll go up to the second spot. The top two drivers in round 1 of the playoffs now running 1-2. And almost as they came into or finished off the round in points is how they run right now. The only car really missing is Seth Hatchell, and he's moved up to the 8th position and starting to put some pressure on Eric Hutton, that 77 Chick-fil-A machine. Now Safe Ferris battling with Chris Samard. Safe is going to take away the 5th position. Chris, who started second, losing a few positions early, but maybe saving some of his stuff. And so, interesting to see the strategies. Keith Mayato not really saving a ton, but maybe he is now. Here comes the 48 all over the back bumper of the 36, and now battle a bit farther back as well. Hutton down to the inside. Seth Hatchell going to try and make the move to the high side, and Dale Glessner not far behind him as well. 8 looks low. 77 not going to leave enough room there to make the move, and Hatchell will drop back in line, hanging on to that 7th position. Battle for the race lead. Still a couple of car lengths in hand for Keith Mayato. Now 1 car length as they work through 3 and 4. You see the 48 right down by the apron. Mayato about a half car width up off the bottom groove as he is starting to, you can see a diamonding technique that often works very well here. You really send it off into the corner, let the car drift up a bit, and then ride the banking back down towards the exit of the turn. As 10 laps completed now, it is still Keith Maiato, but under heavy pressure. Here comes Stravato. Really good in the center of the turn, but not exactly where you need to be good to make the pass at this point in the run. But you can see he closes right up. 36 comes back down the racetrack, and then Keith gets a better run on exit. So they're kind of trading speed. Is that time AJ missing the bottom groove by just a little bit, but he's trying to follow in the footsteps, or the tire tracks rather, of Keith Maiato. A little farther back here, Dennis Faircloth has made his way into the top 10, passing up Alan Dice, who's got quite the fan club growing in the Below the Double Yellow Cup series as his own fake cryptocurrency, I guess is what we can call it. That was featured on Safe Ferris' car last night in the Virtual Racing League, but Alan having a pretty solid run so far in the 11th position. And I want to thank you all in chat for kind words. Just doing my job up here and having a good time doing it with all these great drivers on track. And I want to thank you guys for all tuning in week after week. Really do appreciate it so much. And Eric Lambert, the number 3 car, we featured him right there before the start. Didn't quite get through all of his comments, but the last line was he hopes that Ethan, aka Star, would like the paint scheme and to rest easy. And definitely an amazing tribute. Great looking race car. And Simulators Anonymous community really seems like a great place to be, close-knit community. And you'll hear a bit more about them later in the broadcast. But up here, Keith Maiato, he has been able to hold off the 48 of AJ Stravato. And both of those drivers starting to pull a bit of a margin over Ryan Gemmel. Gemmel, right where he started in the 3rd position, was one of the fastest in practice. We'll have to see if he has anything for the long runs here tonight to try and catch up those race leaders. Mark Emerson right behind him. Couple positions gained early on. Safe Ferris just back 1 spot to the 5th position, and Chris Simard, who is, I think, lost really the most ground up here in the front. Right now in the 6th spot after starting on the front row, did not get going very well. And he's made a couple of passes, but I think he's got a bit more work to do here in stage number 1. Behind him, it's Seth Hatchell and Eric Hutton. Hutton, who has been very good in a few races this season, and a multi-time winner from last year, has not found victory lane just yet. But he is often up here in the mix, and usually very good on the short tracks, as he is looking a little bit loose right now out of turn number 4, but able to get a nice drive off. And Seth Hatchell really starting to close in, though, just 1 car length behind. And you can see Seth really sticking down there on the low lane. Hutton a little bit wobbly out of turn 2. That's going to close the gap up even more. And these guys all no strangers to each other. They've been running all season long around each other. Dale Glessner all by himself. Kind of the intermediary here between the lead pack, which is the top 8, and then the next group led by Dennis Faircloth, who's fallen back a little bit towards Alan Dice, Nick Gardner, Jeremiah Vincent, and others. Nick Starling's back here. Nick getting knocked out of the playoffs in round 1 along with the Vincent brothers and Timmy Emanuele. And I don't see Josiah Vincent on the track tonight. So, not participating here in Dover, but I know Josiah, definitely a busy guy, and might have had something come up here. But Jeremiah Vincent making the pass on Alan Dice as he starts to march towards the top 10. And no other real battles, but this group right here is starting to heat up. Eric Hutton, Chris Samard, Seth Hatchell in this 3-car bunch in the top 10, trying to make moves. Here goes Hatchell, going to look to the inside, and I think he's going to be there, but the 77, really big wiggle. Hatchell got really loose down there, actually touched the apron a little bit and had to back off. He's now got to set up for another attempt, and Hutton really closing in on the back of Chris Samard. And 77 trying to force the issue, almost getting into the back bumper. We'll see if Samard gives him space here. I think he will. Chris not really, I would not call Chris an aggressive driver. He's really quite conservative and just tries to save his stuff, make moves when it counts. And right now losing a couple spots, one to Eric Hutton and one to his teammate Seth Hatchell. Keith Mayato still hanging on to the race lead. 4/10 now out in front of AJ Stravato in the 36. Has been on quite the roll here. He won at the Daytona Road Course, then won at the Nashville Fairgrounds, and then he won at Daytona, and it's just kind of all come in rapid succession. Strong finishes, good performances week in and week out, and the luck has really turned around here for the 36. Meanwhile, AJ Stravato did win last round and had some great performances, but not as good as maybe he would have hoped, but still very comfortably out in front of the point standings with all his playoff points headed into round number 2, as they have really pulled a good margin over Ryan Gemmel, who falls to about a second behind Stravato, and everybody's somewhat spaced out now. Looks like an average of around a half second between each race car, which is what you'll see with these types of these packages. I believe this is the low downforce race car and 750 horsepower, so a little bit tougher to control, but aerodynamics still play quite a huge factor with these Gen 6 cars. Let's go to the nose cam of Seth Hatchell as he tries to chase down Eric Hutton. A car down in the wall there, letting the leaders pass. That is Dennis Steele, who's going to go one lap down. We've already got 2 cars out of the race. Kyle Payne and Nathaniel Ostrowski taking it behind the wall around 12 or 13 laps. Jordan Brackel also, or Brackel rather, sitting on pit lane, trying to get a good view of that race car. And he's got some damage on the right side, but nothing overly severe. And on pit road now for about 35 seconds. Dennis Steele bringing it in. He's got right side damage and left front damage. There's no real significant battles other than towards the back half of the top 20. We've got side by side now Eric Lambert and Lane Sulfridge, and Eric going to make that spot back up. He'll go to 17th. And Lane back to the 18th position. Then Lyle Sulfridge, Justin Carey almost doing battle right behind them. Justin, who had a pretty solid run, I'd say, at Daytona, was up there in the mix. I think he got involved in something. But not as good a run here tonight. Still sitting in 20th position. Trying to make the move around the 70 car. Just can't find a way past. As Lyle right in the preferred groove, doing what he needs to do to keep speed. And Seth Hatchell closing back in on Eric Hutton. This is the next closest battle on the track. This is for 6th and 7th as the top 5 have kind of scooted away. These two have been right around each other the entire opening bit of this race. And now 35 goes up on the board, and Keith Mayato has pulled out a good lead over AJ Stravato now, 1.3 seconds. Back to the 48. last night. AJ came home the bridesmaid in the second position at Darlington. Adam Cabot winning his first career race in the Virtual Racing League. Big congratulations again to him. AJ very happy for his friend to do that, and was a good battle late in that one. AJ trying to track him down, and now he's trying to track down another driver in Keith Mayato. Keith finishing on the podium last night at Darlington as well. And Keith still hanging on to a 1.2, 1.3 second lead. Hatchell still not able to find a way around the 77, but a big run here as they are starting to close in on Safe Ferris. Maybe aerodynamics playing a factor as Hutton really loose up there in that second groove. He'll lose the spot. Trying to get back on the throttle. Can't get another run on Hatchell. And Seth Hatchell to the 6th position. Safe Ferris up here in the 5th position and slowly fading a little bit. Last time by about a half-tenth slower than Seth Hatchell behind him. But trying to hang on for every bit of stage points he can get. We've got random number viewer here saying Keith Miato zone. I haven't even really thought of that, but Keith Miato up here in the race lead. He's going to put Justin Carey a lap down. Justin running in 19th. At least 18 on the lead lap, and just a little ways in front is Lyle Sulfridge, then Eric Lambert, Timmy Emanuele. And then about 6 seconds up to Dennis Faircloth, who runs in the 15th position. Not having the night that he probably wanted. Back here minding his P's and Q's. Knows he's got a caution coming here in the next 10 laps. And really sideways into turn 1. And able to hang on to it. He must be having trouble keeping the tires on that car as loose as they have been. And AJ Stravato closing back in on Keith. About a tenth of a second faster last lap, and I think going to be about another tenth or two faster this lap. And Police 5861, Eric Lambert currently 17th, trying to stay on the lead lap here before the end of stage number 1. The leaders closing in. But Eric up 3 spots in that number 3 car, and he's battling it up with Lyle Sulfridge, who's going to go to the inside. And this is for the last position on the lead lap. And here comes Keith Miato. Is he going to be able to put him a lap down? Lambert going to go a lap down, and he's got to worry about trying to get that lucky dog, as here comes Justin Carey closing in. And they're all wobbling all over the place, and all 3 of these lap cars now in front of AJ Stravato, and making it more difficult for him to navigate. Kyle Payne here in the chat saying that he got basically race-ending damage, and he is out of this one, trying to get things together and hopefully have a stronger year next year. Has not been a great year for the 68. We've seen some good performances, but definitely not the consistency I'm sure Kyle would like, but we'll see if he can improve here in the offseason. I believe he is running over there in the Xfinity League on Monday nights, and that should be a really good tool to help with his improvement moving into next season. But a few drivers out of this one, or 2 drivers out, Kyle Payne and Nathaniel Ostrowski, and then 2 drivers over 18 laps down. And now only 16 on the lead lap. Timmy Emanuele, the last one on the lead lap. As Keith Miato closing in very quickly. Last time Keith ran a 23.69. Timmy with a 24.16. So about a half second slower. We'll see if Keith cuts him a break here, if he does try to put the number 39 a lap down. AJ Stravato making his way past some lap traffic. It's been held up quite a bit. Here comes Ryan Gemmel closing in, trying to get that second spot, as this will be the last lap of stage number 1. Keith Mayato not close enough to lap Timmy Emanuele, and he's got to be thankful for that, as if he was just about a lap farther, oh, Timmy up the racetrack and back down. He'll hang on to the race car and hang on to the lead lap, as Mayato will win stage number 1, and AJ Stravato able to hold off Ryan Gemmel, who had a really nice charge there at the end. Seth Hatchell up to 4th, Mark Emerson and Safe Ferris and Eric Hutton very close, and oh, Safe is going to go around off the nose of the 77, trying to hang on to it, and he will, but a close call for the 44 as we wrap up stage number 1. This is how they came across. Keith Mayato winning the stage. AJ Stravato 2nd. Ryan Gemmel 3rd. Seth Hatchell in the 4th position. Mark Emerson in the 5th spot. Safe Ferris 6th. Eric Hutton 7th. Chris Simard 8th. Dale Glessner 9th. Nick Gardner getting up there in the top 10 for a bonus point. Keith adding to his playoff point total, which is also quite substantial. And might be able to get up there and really challenge AJ Stravato if he gets a couple more race wins. AJ really hot into the pit lane. He had to lock up the brakes there. But as they work down pit road for the first time, let's hear a quick couple messages from our sponsors.
Simulators Anonymous is an online gaming community. The heart of this community is playing simulator-style games, everything from driving, farming, flying, to the occasional survival game. We would love for you to join us. If you play these style of games, or if you're just looking for a great community, we strive to be a community you can be an active participant in by offering events like every 3rd Saturday night is a late night trucking on Truckers MP. We have a very own Minecraft server, and with other servers starting soon. Come join Simulators Anonymous today at www.simulatorsanonymous.com.
Boston Web Marketing is New England's largest full-service web marketing company specializing in SEO, SEM, website design, social media management, reputation management, and more. Founded in 2009, we have rapidly expanded and are able to service small to large clients nationally as well as worldwide. We are a long-standing Google partner with a large team of SEO specialists, certified AdWords professionals, web designers, social media experts, and web marketing gurus. Our team provides excellent, knowledgeable, and highly effective web marketing services. Contact us today to get started. 617-676-8109. www.getfoundquick.com.
Back on the track now. Keith Mayato, Ryan Gemmel going to be in control of this restart. AJ Stravato made a mistake, it appears. Maybe a speeding penalty sent him towards the back of the lead lap. And green flag back in the air. Everybody getting up to speed nicely. No spinning of the tires, it appears. And Keith Mayato going to grab that lead right back. And now the battle for second position between teammates. Seth Hatchell, Ryan Gemmel. And Seth Hatchell, look at the run out of turn 2. He's going to challenge for the race lead. What a drive. As he now puts pressure on his teammate. He's going to get to the point and he's going to take the lead away. As Mayato did not fire off as well as he did in the early stages of this race. And maybe saving some stuff, knowing how his tire wear was. But man, what about Seth Hatchell? Shot out of a cannon. Two-time race winner this season, and we know he's good here, but wow, I did not expect that. Already 0.6 of a second out in front of his teammate Keith Mayato, who led the entirety of this thing in stage number 1. Now side by side behind Ryan Gemmel, Safe Ferris, Eric Hutton. I don't know if Safe is maybe a little bit unhappy with what happened after the conclusion of stage 1, but now side by side with his teammate Dale Glessner. And the 44 will take the 5th position right on back, but oh, the 10 into the outside wall. Pretty big hit there for Glessner, and the 10 for Team Red Speed. That is going to slow him up quite a bit. As here, oh, he brushes it again out of turn number 4. And slowly but surely, the 16 of Nick Gardner closing in. See Dallas Sullivan battling with Dennis Faircloth. Here comes Chris Samard. Chris, who had an extended stay on the pit lane to get some damages fixed. Back up into the top 10, Mark Emerson, AJ Stravato behind him. I think I saw a car in the wall. That might have been Dennis Faircloth, who's had his fair share of struggles here in tonight's event. Up here in the top 15, though, is now side by side Mark Emerson, AJ Stravato. Mark with some pretty significant right side and right rear damage on the number 32. Starting to get challenged from behind by Nick Starling, the 99 machine. And nearly 3 wide there as Samard goes to the inside of Dallas Sullivan. And AJ Stravato right there behind. Almost took it 3 wide, but he's just going to follow Chris on through as they move up to 10th and 11th. Sullivan back to the 11th position, actually. Dallas up 6 spots in the Catmobile, which, if you look at the back, says Neum. And he's got that kid's like play mat as the centerpiece of the scheme. Goes over the roof there. One of the more creative designs that I have seen for sure, and a bit of an evolution of his previous scheme as he looks on this battle starting to develop. Samard kind of shutting the door on the 48, but AJ not backing off. He is right there on the corner of the bumper and really loose out of the turn, not able to keep the power down, and he'll lose up some of that ground that he had gained. Here we go side by side, 7th and 8th. And now it's going to be for 8th and 9th. Samard going to try and shoot the gap there as the 16 up the racetrack. He's just letting these guys by. I'm not sure what's going on there, but he was battling for 7th. And now Nick falling all the way back to 13th. Meanwhile, Seth Hatchell still driving away 1 second ahead. And War Bovine Eric, he just got lapped. Quite a few drivers already lapped down in this one. We have 18 on the lead lap. And Jordan Shepler, who took the wave around hoping for a yellow, he is losing time rapidly right now, about a second a lap off the pace, and he is going to be going a lap down here in probably the next 5 to 10 laps, as you see Seth Hatchell closing in from behind. But Eric right now, third car, 1 lap down behind Lane Sulfridge and Justin Carey. And I think Eric, with some damage on the car that must have come right on those last few laps of the stage, definitely a bit off the pace compared to the race leaders, but still managing to hang just 1 lap down. Is Hatchell now losing a little bit of ground to Keith Maiato, who's got maybe a little bit of a push from the 6 behind him, as these 4 nose to tail. And then a little ways back, Dale Glessner, who had made contact with the wall, but still hanging nicely up here in 6th. And behind him, it's Dennis Steele, who is 30 laps down, but elects to bring it back on the racetrack. Looks like he's still got pretty good speed in that car, and won't really pose a threat by being too in the way. Is the 9 of Jeremiah Vincent trying to make his way past Jeremiah with a pretty strong run so far in the 7th spot. And he'll take it down low on the 28, and AJ Stravato not far behind, closing in as well. Here comes Chris Samard, going to try and get past those drivers all in the top 10. There you see Jordan Shepler well off the pace. Nearly 2 seconds off the pace now, as Dennis Steele behind him. He's going to check up. Here comes Mark Emerson. He'll go to the inside. I think Jordan just letting everyone pass, knowing he's at that huge tire deficit, having not yet pit in this race. Sorry about that. I know sometimes the pre-roll ads just come out of nowhere. If I had it my way, we wouldn't run any pre-roll. It would only be when I pick, but Twitch has some control there. And he did get lapped very close to the end of the stage. And right now trying to hang on to just 1 lap down, as he is 21st. He's actually going to bring it down the pit lane. And he is going to go at least a 2nd lap down here, trying to roll into his pit box. Not sure what's going on with the number 3 car. Might have lost the engine. I know we saw some overheating issues in practice. And he is going to get service started on that race car. And how about this? Seth Hatchell still 3/4 of a second out in front, but Keith Maiato has started to pull away from Ryan Gemmel. And has Keith saved up a little bit of stuff here, and he's going to try and chase back down that 8 machine. Battle brewing back here. Jeremiah Vincent to the inside of Dale Glessner. 9 car goes low. He's able to complete the pass. Dale a little bit loose out of turn 4. Here comes Stravato, going to look to the inside into turn number 1. No dice there. He'll step back in line behind the 10 car as they drive out of turn number 2. Chris Samard also in the picture. Dallas Sullivan's done a good job of maintaining in the top 10. And appears that he may have saved a little bit of his stuff, and now starting to get closer and closer to Chris Samard. And Stravato able to complete the pass on the 10 out of turn number 2. Here comes Chris Samard, a car length back. And almost all of these guys in the top 10 are playoff drivers. The only one that's not, only 2 that aren't, are Jeremiah Vincent, who got eliminated after last week, and Dale Glessner, who just didn't make enough starts. I think Dale was pretty good in this season when he did race, and has just kind of made a limited number of starts I think came into it kind of knowing that he was going to be a part-time driver, but has had top 10 speed every night that he has been out here. Occasionally a bit better. And I believe he even, won the pole at Daytona in the opening race of the season, and very strong run there. Seth Hatchell, he's opened up the margin once again to 1 second down the back straightaway. And Eric Lambert taking it behind the wall early on tonight. So unfortunate to see. Probably will end up finishing in the 22nd position as they run, unless he gets back out on the racetrack. He's got about 20 or 25 laps to do so before he loses a position. As Seth Hatchell still 1 second out in front of his teammate Keith Mayato, the V-Speed drivers up front tonight, and able to hang on to those positions as Ryan Gemmel third, so it's a 1-2-3. Eric Hutton right here behind them for LDR. He's trying to chase him down. Eric's had good speed tonight, up 3 spots from where he started. Safe Fares in the 5th position, really no threat from behind just yet, but Stravato starting to reel him back in. Still about a second and a half to go for the driver of the 48 to get up to the 44. Jeremiah Vincent up 6 spots. Very solid run tonight for Jeremiah, who did not have things go his way last week at Daytona and was eliminated. And the next couple of races in this round, going to be very interesting. Indianapolis in the Cup cars, the Oval, an 80-lap race over there, and then Martinsville will be the cutoff race here in the round of 12. So some good tracks. Indy will be a tough one for these guys to make their passes. And we'll see what they can do there, if they've got any kind of a custom setup that makes it more competitive. But qualifying and track position can be so important next week as they are here tonight. Nick Gardner, who fell back to about 13th, right now in the 12th spot. Dennis Faircloth actually starting to track down Nick Starling in the Geico machine. Oh, big wiggle right there. And I know Nick really does enjoy driving a car when it's a bit greasy, a bit slidey, but I think tonight might be a bit more of the snap loose that a lot of drivers have a tough time with. And right now, Nick not able to find the top 10 pace, but right now in 13th. Oh, up against the wall. As Dennis starting to put some pressure on from behind. This is for the 13th position. And Nick Gardner starting to track down Mark Emerson, who has not had the best performance of his season, but still knocking on the door to the top 10 in the 11th position. And Mark using a little higher groove is not really working for him, though. Look at the 16, reel him in right there. Gained about 3 car lengths on the exit of turn 2. Just by taking the lower lane. And waiting for some other battles to develop. Looks like AJ Stravato really closing in on Safe Fares. They've got Jordan Scheffler right in between. Jordan made a pit stop just 9 laps ago. Currently scored 4 laps off the pace, but on much fresher tires than these guys. He's trying to get past Safe Fares as well. But he is actually going to roll out of the way. Here goes Stravato right on past. And this will be the battle for the 5th spot. the rest of the field too far forward or a bit too far back, I think, to make anything happen. And Keith Mayato has not been able to track down Hatchell any more than this. This is about as close as he's gotten, 6.5 tenths. Down into turn number 3, now 6 tenths. Hatchell really pushed the car hard in the early laps of this stage. Can Keith save or use what he has saved up? Still 6.5 tenths. It'll be 5 to go in the stage next time by. Let's go to the American Trucking Association in-car camera with Keith. As Seth, a little connection problem there, but the gap is closing. You can see Keith keeping that car low. Seth using the diamond technique. The car is getting very light in the rear. The lower fuel load, worn out tires. This is when it gets really tricky around here, and this is when Miles the Monster starts claiming drivers. As real big dive into turn 1 there. Seth trying to time his exit so he can get around the 71. And that is going to hold him up just a little bit. Here comes Mayato with a big run. Now 2.5 car lengths behind. And Hatchell seeing that lead shrink lap after lap now. That time by Mayato a 10th faster. And Gemmel too far back to make anything happen. How hard will Seth battle with the 36 if Keith does get there? Good lap that time around. Actually faster than the 36. 2 more to go in the stage. Hatchell looking for a stage victory. Seth won the finale of the regular season. Nearly won the championship. It was just a few points between himself and AJ Stravato. Right now looking for his first playoff points of the playoffs, and this would be very big for him, as he has, I think, the 4th most playoff points, but this would get him 1 closer to Mark Emerson, and every point you can get that carries over to the next round is a big advantage. And right now, look how close it is. 1 car length. Mayato not going to get there. Seth Hatchell will win the stage. Keith Mayato 2nd, Ryan Gemmel 3rd, and others coming across the line, as that is going to be it. And they have not thrown the yellow flag yet. There it is. Long time in between. And that is going to do it. Seth Hatchell wins the stage. He'll get the playoff bonus point, the 10 stage points, 9 points for Keith Mayato, 8 for Ryan Gemmel, 7 for Eric Hutton, 6 for Safe Fares, AJ Stravato, Jeremiah Vincent, Chris Samard, Dallas Sullivan, and Dale Glessner. Some drivers really getting points that needed it. And almost all of those are playoff drivers except for Jeremiah Vincent and Dale Glessner. See if we can dial up Mr. Hatchell after they make their pit stops. And while they are headed to pit lane, we want to remind you that we've got a big event going on next month. It's going to be May 20th to the 22nd. The World 600, presented by Aqualix Esports. $15 entry and over $1,500 prize purse. It's going to be available. Also benefiting Stand Up to Cancer. A portion of each entry goes straight to those guys and supporting that great cause. I want to thank all the sponsors that are helping to make this possible, including Below the Double Yellow, V-Speed Garage, Tricky Gaming on Facebook, Norse Force Racing, Sim Racing Development, and Virtual Racing League. I want to thank all of those guys. And it's going to be a lot of fun, a 250-lap main event, but you got to go through the whole thing to make it into the big show. You can lock yourself in through qualifying. There's a bonus payout for winning the pole. There's bonus payouts for winning heats, which will also get you in. And then there's the last chance qualifier taking place on the Friday night heat events. And then the big main event World 600, and the winner is going to get at least $500 and maybe more depending on the entries. And really excited to have this broadcast right here on V-Speed. And we are headed back to the racetrack as Seth Hatchell won the battle off of pit lane. You see Mark Emerson making his way off the pit lane. So Hatchell, Gemmel, Mayato actually losing a spot through the pit cycle. Ryan Gemmel with a really nice pit road sequence. He was quite a bit faster than everyone. Safe Fair is also pretty quick. He hangs on to the 5th position. If you're just joining us just past the halfway mark, this is Nashville's Next with Benny 200. You can learn more about them by using the command !NNWB. And we'll put it in chat here so you can learn more about that. They are a radio program located just outside Wilmington, Delaware, right around the racetrack here. And the info is in the chat. But it has been a pretty calm race by all respects. If we take a look at the recap, 2 cautions, only 1 lead change. And that was Seth Hatchell taking it from Keith Mayato and running away with it. But Keith nearly getting back to him at the end of stage number 2. And the question is, what's the strategy from here on out? You've got to go twice as far as you did last stage. Pace car lights will turn off. We're going green this time. Just past halfway, cheer on your favorite driver. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Seth Hatchell? Is it going to be Keith Mayato? Will it be Ryan Gemmel earning his first of the season? Could it be Eric Hutton winning his first of the season? Could it be Safe Ferris? Jeremiah Vincent? Any one of these drivers has a shot. Stage points no matter at this point. It's give it everything you've got to go win this race. If you win, you advance to the next round of the playoffs. And if you don't, well, hope for the best finish you can get, because all these guys are up here competing right now. Pace car makes a hard left-hand turn onto pit lane. And green flag back in the air. Really good early jump there for the 8. Seth Hatchell, and he'll lead him back across the start-finish line. And down into turns 1 and 2. Seth's so good there on the last restart in the opening laps. Just drove away from the drivers behind him. But things getting pretty wild towards the back here. We saw Lyle Solfridge, Timmy Emanuele, and Dale Glessner 3 wide for a moment. Mark Emerson going to go on past now and move up to the 15th position. And, and there's contact there. Alan Dice, hard hit to the 70, the 71 involved. So both the Sulfridges caught up in that one off the nose of the 57 of Alan Dice. Let's go take a look at how that developed. Taking a look, Alan Dice, the 57. You see the 70 kind of just letting people go, it appears. And Alan, really good run out of turn 4. He looks like he was going to try and make the move. 70 kind of was going for the same spot, and I don't know if Alan really came up. Let's go to the more overhead camera view. Oh, he got very close to hitting the wall right there and then drove down the track. 57 got to the inside and didn't lift. And damage there, collecting the 71 as well. And Jordan Shepler just barely navigated through that. hard to see with the smoke, and oh, just avoids the 70. Timmy Emanuele was right in front of that, I believe. So he catches a little bit of a break there. And the top 14 going to stay on the racetrack. Some of these drivers a bit farther back, going to bring it down. Timmy Emanuele just topping up on fuel. Maybe he's thinking he can make it the whole way with another caution or two. Saw that the 13 of Scheffler, I believe Lucky Dog during this occasion. Pretty sure Jordan was able to go about 80 laps on the initial set of tires and fuel, but was well off the pace. So what's going to be the trade-off if you can stretch it somehow from here? Timmy going to bring it back down again, along with Jordan Scheffler. As we work under the yellow flag, let's see if we can get a word in with Seth Hatchell quickly under the caution. Seth Hatchell, Adam in the V-Speed booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Seth, a little bit of a slow start in tonight's race. You start up or back in the 10th position, and you worked your way up to second there during the pit cycle. And man, what a restart in the last stage. You just drove away and you held on to it. What changed there?
I'm not real sure. I felt like I've been much more of a long run sort of guy during my practice this week, and so got that restart, and I don't know if I caught Keith napping or something, but I was moving pretty quick there at the beginning, and fortunately it worked out because at the end of the stage he was rolling the center way better than me. I think I killed my tires the first couple of laps, but happy to get up front now because track position is pretty important. It's pretty hard to pass being behind a guy trying to time a run. You don't want to run in the back of him, but you also don't want to lay back too far to get a run. So happy to be up here.
Yeah, definitely making the most of your opportunity, winning stage number 2, and now with the race lead here in the final stage. Looks like you guys are going green this time, so good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we talk to you at the end.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, and that was Seth Hatchell, driver for Team V-Speed, the number 8. 55 laps led here. He led pretty much the entirety of stage number 2 and continuing to lead right now under the yellow flag. But winner of stage 2 and looking pretty good here for this last bit of the race. And that was just our third caution of the event, the first one for an accident. Although I think there were some other accidents, we just didn't catch them on camera. And they didn't bring out a yellow flag. But it'll be Seth Hatchell, Ryan Gemmel in control on this restart, and then Keith Maiato right there behind him alongside Eric Hutton. The top 4, AJ Stravato back in the top 5. Green flag in the air. And the 8 of Seth Hatchell. Great restart again. And now the battle for second, and maybe now the battle for third, is Keith Maiato able to take second back away, and now Stravato looking to the inside of Ryan Gemmel. The 48 and the 6 side by side. Stravato will take that spot, and I think Stravato welcoming these cautions. He's been able to get back up through the field after, I think, a pit road mistake at the end of stage 1. He's going to look now low on the 36, and not quite there yet as Keith gets a really good exit out of turn 2. But the pressure being applied from the driver of the Waste Management Camaro. And big wiggle there for both of them. Battling for the second spot. Safe fair is all over the back bumper of Eric Hutton. Both of them got a bit loose. And he's going to look low. Not going to find any running room there. Settle back in line. Here comes Chris Samard starting to close in. As the top 7 have broken away. Jeremiah Vincent. Not too much pressure from behind from Dallas Sullivan, but Nick Starling up in the top 10 as the sun coming out here in Dover. And the track could change quite a bit for this second half of the race. Battle on for second spot. AJ Stravato to the inside of Keith Mayato. Keith going to give it to him. We'll see if he fights back here. As AJ was so good on the short run in that first stage, but couldn't keep up with the 36 on the long run. And it is going to be very close to the end of the race. If they can make it on fuel, they won't really have much in terms of rubber left. As the field working through turns 1 and 2. Hatchell seeing that margin shrink just a little bit the last couple laps as AJ Stravato's gotten by. AJ right down by the apron, and that time across the line actually not faster, so still 4.5 tenths separating the top two, and then another 5 tenths back to Keith Mayato. The only other multi-race winner that's not up here in the top 5 is Mark Emerson, who has had a bit of a rough night. Started in 6th. He's right now in 14th behind Nick Gardner. And the playoffs have not gone as well as Mark would have hoped, I think. He's still got plenty of time to make up some ground in this race, but he's got to be very careful to not make any more mistakes. He's got plenty of right side damage on that car already. Alan Dice behind him was mixed up in that last yellow flag. He's got Justin Carey and the clean race car coming up behind him. Meanwhile, Hatchell still about 4 tenths out in front of AJ Stravato, but I think Seth may be pushing a little bit harder than he wants to. The rest of the field about 2 or 3 tenths a lap slower. And there might be some saving going on from some of these guys. We'll see. Ryan Gemmel in 4th here under pressure from Safe Ferris. Is Safe trying to chase him down the back straightaway. Ryan with a little bit of a blinking problem for a moment there. You hear how long Safe's got to wait on that throttle. Let's go on board with him here. From the visor cam down into turn 1, you can see just how much movement there is in that race car with the elevation change. As we go down into turn 3, kind of the same thing, just dropped right down in. And it's so dramatic to see that from the driver's point of view. As here comes Chris Samard actually putting some pressure on the 44. But really, the top 2 have driven away. It is not even close. Keith Mayato, 1.5 seconds or more behind. It doesn't sound like Keith is clutching it. So I don't know if he's saving anything or what, but he is definitely not as quick as he was in the opening stages of this race. And whether or not that is by design, well, we'll find out. Probably in about 20 or 30 laps if he starts reeling those guys back in. But pretty close nose to tail among the 3rd through 8th, and then a little ways back to Nick Starling, who's got 4 tenths or so out in front of Dallas Sullivan, who rounds out the top 10. Dale Glessner, who had a pretty solid run there in stage 2. Right now back to the 11th position, but he's got pretty good distance over Dennis Faircloth, who seems to have picked up the pace a bit. And 71 of Lane Sulfridge brings it down pit lane. Not sure if that car is under power or not. does sound like it is, so good sign there. The Hot Wheels machine has not gone up in smoke just yet. He pulls into his pit box. Hatchell still out in front, 0.6, the margin over AJ Stravato. As we work under green here in stage number 3. Those the top 2, but here comes Keith Mayato. He's picked it up. He's running a 1/10.5 faster. That time basically just matching the leader's times. But starting to close in. He was about 0.6 farther back, maybe more than that. We'll see what he is at the line this time. Another 0.5 gone there, so he has picked it up a little bit, but the lap before, or 2 laps ago rather, he was basically a 1/4 second faster, so he picked up a few tenths over that little stretch. That's where the gains came from, but the 8 of Hatchell still putting up pretty good lap times, faster than AJ Stravato, and just about as fast, if not faster, than everyone else. And we'll see if any of these guys try a strategy call and actually bring it down pit lane early. Here comes Hutton making a move to the inside of Chris Samard. These two have battled it out all race long. But Samard will let him go, and we'll see if he can track him back down. As AJ Stravato matching lap times to the race leader, but he is not running faster. At least not by much on a consistent basis. This lap time, he might have picked up a 1/10 of a second. Hatchell, not his best lap. And it's just 0.03 that time by. Keith Mayato only 1/100th faster. And nobody else is any faster than that. Stravato, fastest car on the track. But like I said, slim margins right there as everybody's kind of running the same speed. And he tapped the apron just a little bit. That actually cost him almost a 1/10 of a second, back up to 6.5 at the line. And Seth Hatchell in that clean air. He's got a rhythm down, and he is definitely, I think, the favorite at this point, assuming he can make it on tires and fuel with just one stop, which I think should be more than possible. They've gone 33 laps this run. Say Ferris in 5th. Trying to track down the V-Speed teammates in front of him. And we've got a battle brewing here. Jeremiah Vincent closing in on Chris Samard. Is Chris trying to save some fuel as he lets the 9 car right on past, or tries to? They go side by side down the front stretch. There goes Jeremiah. He'll take the 7th spot away. In battle back here between the Nicks. Nick Gardner, Nick Starling. Is Gardner going to look down low? Gets a good run through the center of 3 and 4. Here comes Mark Emerson as well. Mark's picked it back up. And Nick right up against the outside wall there. He's going to lose 2 spots at once. And here comes Dennis Faircloth. Going to try and challenge potentially for that 13th position. And AJ Stravato is closed way up on Seth Hatchell. Did Seth make a mistake? The gap has been cut in half. Maybe Seth starting to save a little bit. It's AJ, look at this. He is right here. And Seth rolling down to the bottom side. 48 to the outside. Battle for the race lead. Hatchell at the line still has it. Not sure what happened with Seth. Maybe just saved fuel for a lap or two. AJ trying to find a way back around, cuts down the racetrack. Oh, and the big block thrown there. AJ gonna get to the inside. He's gonna get to the quarter and actually send him up the racetrack. Good save by Seth Hatchell. But he is not gonna be happy about that. AJ with the aggressive drive down to the inside. Just shoved the 8 car right out of the way. Let's go back and take a look at that. It was so close to being a yellow. hard to fault anybody. I know Seth trying to throw the blocks there, and then there was room, but the 48 just barely rubbed up against him, and that's why Seth didn't go around any worse than that. But Hatchell back to fourth, and now with those super heated rear tires, gonna have to find some grip, and now some damage as well on the left side from that contact. AJ Stravato looking for another race win, but he's got a challenger approaching, and that is Keith Mayato, now 1/4 of a second behind and closing fast, that time by a 10th faster than the 48. And Keith really hot in the playoffs so far, a first, a second, and a first in round number 1. He's already won a stage tonight. He won the pole, and he is looking to win the race as well right here on the back bumper of the 48. You can see the different approaches to the corner. Let's go to the nose cam with Keith. He's out of turn 2, a pretty good run, but the 48 still gets the power down. And Keith drifts up the track a little bit here to cut back down, I think. And AJ a little bit squirrely there, but the margin remains the same, about 1/10.5, 2/10. But that's what it looks like in reality. Just a half car length. And Keith, a really big run here. He's going to get right to the bumper. And is he going to give any kind of payback for his teammate getting shoved out of the way? Keith's not really the payback type, especially if it hasn't been done directly to him. I would not expect Keith to do anything like that. And AJ, I don't think he's suffering from any damage. He really doesn't have any on that race car. But man, what a battle brewing right here. And here he goes looking to the outside. Keith Mayato is there. And he is trying to get to the outside quarter panel, prevent that 48 car from rolling up the racetrack, and he is going to do so. Down the backstretch, side by side for the race lead. Keith's going to really have to dive it into turn 3 and not able to do it. But can he get the exit and try and make a crossover on the 48, who gets a bit loose? And Ryan Gemmel is closing in as they battle. Gemmel is here. Hatchell's closing back in. Seyfarez slowly closing back in. Could be 5 cars under a blanket before we know it, and we've still got 50 laps to go. And Josiah Vincent in chat saying that's what happens when you block. And I do agree. I mean, if you block, especially if you make multiple moves, you've opened the door to getting shoved from behind. And I think that's kind of what happened. I don't think Seth realized he was maybe that low, or the 48 was even that far alongside. And ultimately, they got together. I don't think it was intentional by anyone. Just racing, hard racing up here for the race lead. And look at Keith Mayato. He is all over the back of the 48. And AJ, with so many race wins already this season, can he get another one here, lock himself into round number 3, even though he's essentially a lock already with the playoff points? But as things sit, he would be moving on straight away. And he's pulled about 2 car lengths back over Keith Mayato. Yeah, definitely just a racing incident, more so than anything. Hard racing incident. I mean, some drivers would back out in a scenario like that, but I think AJ knows what he's got, and he was not prepared to back down. And right now it is paying off. He is still hanging on to this race lead, and the V-Speed drivers behind him trying to figure something out. Gemmel has faded just a little bit. About 6 car lengths back from Mayato. After closing up quite a bit there, he is losing a bit of time in Mayato. I think Keith may be pushing that car really hard there for those few laps to try and make a move. Has cost him. We'll see if he's saving a little bit And gonna try and reload the gun for another attempt. As Gemmel under pressure from his teammate and Seth Hatchell. And just a quarter of the race remaining, or less than a quarter of the race remaining. And really 6 cars in contention. Eric Hutton 2.5 seconds back, and then Jeremiah Vincent another 2.5 back from him. He's out in front of Chris Samard, Dallas Sullivan. Mark Emerson has made it back up into the top 10. As we've got a car slow on the racetrack, Jordan Scheffler. As he worked his way to pit lane, what happened to Jordan? I think maybe contact with his teammate, Nick Starling. Oh, yep. Nick just caught right up to him. And actually, Nick made a pit stop 11 laps ago. And is 2 laps off the pace right now, but trying to make up ground. And that is not going to help him on his way. And we've got cars on pit road. That is Chris Samard. Dallas Sullivan, and caution is going to fly as the 44 of Safe Fair is around. And some damage to the Team Red Speed driver. What are those guys on pit lane going to do? They're going to go a lap down. Let's go take a look at what happened to Safe. Bad timing for a few drivers to elect to make the stop. Oh, and Seth Hatchell brought it down as well. But we're taking a look at the caution. There's Hatchell coming onto pit lane. Safe Ferris gets the apron a little, washes him up the racetrack. Hutton with a great drive. And he's going to make some contact with the 77. And Safe not able to save it. Goes around and into the outside wall. And nobody makes contact with him. But that is not going to help out drivers like Seth Hatchell, Nick Starling, Mark Emerson came down pit lane, Chris Samard, all those guys trapped at least a lap down. And they're going to have to take a wave around here under the yellow flag. But AJ Stravato will lead the field down the pit lane. And is anybody going to have anything for the 48? So I think Hutton and Safe Ferris have gotten together a couple times now in this race. And ooh, did Stravato win that battle off? Or did Keith Mayato win it? Trying to get a good view of it. Oh, that's where they count it. I think, is that far line? And AJ's got to be careful. He's made speeding penalty mistakes. And it looks like he is all good. And look at all those cars taking wave rounds. That is crazy. I think really this hurt Nick Starling more than anybody. He went 2 laps down. And he's going to have to take a wave round. He'll be on older tires. So just unfortunate luck there for the driver. The 99 seems to be the story this season, really. Some good performances in and throughout the year, but a lot of bad luck. As Mark Emerson playing some mind games with his teammate there, I think. They're having a little bit of fun. Quick race recap as we will have 40 to go next time by. 4 cautions, only 2 lead changes. One being from Seth Hatchell from Keith Mayato to Seth Hatchell. And the second from Seth Hatchell to AJ Stravato. Keith looking for some way to get back out in front. AJ was very quick on the short runs in stage 1 and then stage 2. Had to come from the rear and now has made it all the way back up to the front to be in position to potentially win and advance to race number 3. And I believe he does have 5 wins this season. This would be win number 6. Next closest is Keith Mayato, who's got 3. And then we've got two-time winners in Seth Hatchell and Mark Emerson, both of those drivers with 2 wins apiece. Nick Gardner, a one-time winner. I think that's everyone this season that has gone to victory lane. And it will be 39 laps remaining here. If you're just joining us, this is the Nashville's Next with Benny 200 from Dover International Speedway. Currently on lap 161 of 200. The drivers taking the wave round and getting back caught up. We've completed the first 2 stages. Stage 1 won by Keith Mayato. Stage 2 won by Seth Hatchell, who just got trapped a lap down under that yellow flag, but he's back on the lead lap now. And we're about to get back underway as Travato in control. Mayato edges forward, and there it is, green flag. Not a great restart for Mayato, and he might be under pressure from his teammate in Ryan Gemmel, as they will battle it out now side by side. Ryan with a really good run through the center of 1 and 2, but the longer they battle, the farther that 48 could pull out in front, so they've got to figure this out quickly. As Gemmel now to the 2nd position, looking for his first race win. And oh, hard contact! Mayato up in the air, up on the hood, on top of the Geico machine, and into the inside wall. That is the end of the race for Keith Mayato. Ryan Gemmel got loose as well, and we saw the 77 hard into the outside wall. And what a disaster for the race leaders. Gemmel down low, gets past the 36. Mayato a bit loose, and then overcorrection, man, and that's going to collect Jeremiah Vincent, Nick Gardner. Dennis Faircloth might have gotten lucky there with the car landing on top of him the way it did. Oh, Justin Carey just locking it down. And that is a big break for the guys towards the rear of the field. Just a little tap right there. Oh man, what a big impact for Keith Mayato, and he does emerge from the vehicle. Ooh, that is not what you want to see. Let's go back a little bit more. This is Dennis Faircloth we're on board with. And I'm pretty sure Dennis had a car land on him Monday night in the Xfinity Series here in Below the Double Yellow. So starting to get some Ryan Newman type luck with the cars landing on him. It's not really something you want to be happening to you. And then you see the 16 of Nick Gardner. He's got heavy damage from this incident. He ran right into a couple of those. Dale Glessner involved late in that one. I'm just going to go back one more time and look from, try and get a different view of what happened here. Big hit. That's going to really hurt the 77 of Eric Hutton, who came in to this round of the playoffs not in the best of shape. Mayato has he has a race mulligan, I would say. And what does this change at this point? So many cars with damage. Some of the fastest cars farther back in the field. And Nick Starling may be saying, well, maybe it's not all bad. I'm still out here. The car's not too bad. And he might very well end up with a top 10 finish the way that things are looking. But what an accident there. As Mayato and Gemmel got loose. Hutton up into the 36. And away they went. The 36 car has been brought back to the pit lane. Mayato sitting on the pit road. He's sitting with his crew actually right by the pit box, and that car's looking like it's probably done for the day. Let's see if we can get a view of it here. Yeah, that is. He's entered the modified division, but the engine is not running on the race car right now. So that is going to be most likely the end of Mayato's day, and he will, as it looks, maybe end up 20th position by the time everything cycles out. If Dennis Steele can stay on the racetrack, he will take the 19th position. But I really just can't believe that car ended up on top of Dennis Faircloth and basically rode with him for the straightaway. And Dennis, in the way that things work on iRacing, essentially emerges without any damage. The cars really don't receive any kind of roof damage, and I don't think Mayato's car really ever touched anything other than the roof. So Dennis promoted up to 3rd position, and he has had a struggle tonight, but he's got an opportunity to make something happen. It could be the shocker of the season to see that 80 car take the win here at Dover. He's going to have to find something deep down, though, to be able to get the speed. As look at Stravato get a good restart. Glessner checking him up in the outside line. They all scatter to get around, but this is dangerous. The 10 with that nose damage, I think, has lost some horsepower and also might have been in the wrong gear. It is hard to say, but side-by-side battle now for the 2nd spot. Dennis Faircloth to the inside of Gemmel. And nearly contact out of turn number 4. Gemmel's going to take the spot away. Dennis dropping back to 3rd. Here comes Chris Samard, who had been trapped a lap down from that pit cycle 2 cautions ago. You're welcome very much, Eric. Glad to be able to do that for you guys. Thank you for tuning in after exiting the race early. Appreciate that, as we've got this battle still for 2nd. Gemmel, with some pressure from the 80 of Faircloth, and AJ Stravato has pulled away like he has done so many times in these races. Given the opportunity, that 48 car capitalizes as well as really anyone could. He's got 5 wins this year, looking for win number 6 in the first 14 races. Last year ended up with, I think, 8 or 9 in total. And he is on pace to not quite match that this season. There's been some stiffer competition, I'd say. This year, it's been a lot of speed. I mean, look at this. Dennis Faircloth to 2nd. Dennis Faircloth started 11th. He has run outside the top 10 85% of this race, and he is up here in 2nd spot. He's got a chance to chase down AJ Stravato, and he has found some speed as he is closing in on the 48. What is going on? And if he chases him down, can he get past him? But Dennis Faircloth, this could be the race of his life. It would be an incredible learning experience, or just amount of information learned for him, I'm sure, to be able to go from a car that was not really competitive at all to maybe having a shot. He's 4.5 tenths back. You can see how hard that car is sliding around. He's still trying to hang on to it. And he's going to lose a little bit of ground in doing so, and Ryan Gemmel closing back in. Stravato now 3/4 of a second out in front, and Dennis really, now I think he overcooked the tires, and that's how he got that speed out of it. But man, if he gets up here on the podium still, it's going to be a heck of a drive. He's got Chris Samard and Seth Hatchell, hungry drivers behind him, trying to close in. Mark Emerson has had quite the recovery himself, up to 6th after being outside the top 10 for a lot of this race. Dallas Sullivan holding off Justin Carey for the moment. Justin with the wreck avoidance of the night right there. I think just a little contact at the very end, but not significant. Safe Ferris still running out here with the heavy nose damage in the 9th spot, and we have side-by-side up here for 4th. Seth Hatchell takes it away from Chris Samard. Seth has his sights set on the podium right there in front of him. Dennis Faircloth, Ryan Gemmel. He wants another shot at that race win as well. It is far from over. Look at Jeremiah Vincent on the racetrack with that car running the way it is. 14th position, last car on the lead lap. And there were overheating issues for drivers in practice, but this could be beneficial. He probably isn't even anywhere close to overheating with no front end on the car. Eric Hutton really paid the price in that wreck. He is 16th. 1 lap down. Not even the lead car 1 lap down. So he is just hoping for something to happen here so he can gain a couple more spots, but otherwise it could be a hit for the driver of the 77 in the points. And AJ Stravato 4.5 tenths out in front, but Ryan Gemmel starting to track him down. Can Gemmel get his first race win of the season at Dover? Ryan won a race at Michigan last year. Has not found victory lane since, as we have, I think that's Nick Gardner on the apron, and he has lost the motor. Nick Gardner maybe back under power. Oh, it does not look like it. Nick Gardner, race winner at Talladega. He is going to be out of it, and that is good for Eric Hutton, but it is not good for Nick Gardner, who is one of the lower seeds coming into the night. Here goes Gemmel now to the inside of Jeremiah Vincent. Going to put him a lap down. Stravato still hanging on to the race lead, 7.5 tenths. And Seth Hatchell in that 3rd position has gotten past Dennis Faircloth. Faircloth back to 5th now, as he is still fighting to hang on to that race car. Look at the big slide right there. Mark Emerson creeping into that picture. But this is looking like another classic 48 performance. By 48, I mean AJ Stravato, especially here at Dover. This is a familiar position for the 48 car. And Stravato 7 tenths out in front. He took the lead from Seth Hatchell. Kind of pulled it away from him, we'll say. And he is now out in front 3/4 of a second. Gemmel occasionally matching lap time, and that time a 10th faster, actually. But does he have enough to get up there and challenge? This would be a breakout performance, as Ryan has been up in the top 5 all race long. And he has done so basically all season. Just has not found victory lane, but has been one of the most consistent drivers. I think in terms of stats, purely, I think Gemmel and Hatchell, the 2 most consistent. Just so happens that 48 car, it's kind of feast or famine. If he wins, or if he finishes well, he wins. If he doesn't finish well, it's a wreck. And it's usually not of his doing. And right now, he is looking like he could be on his way to victory. Gemmel fading a little bit. But caution is going to fly. It is the 13 of Jordan Shepwer on the back straightaway. Spinning it to the inside. This changes everything again. What happened to Jordan to bring out the yellow flag? Let's take a look. Taking a look at the replay, Jordan Shepler running 16th position. Hits the wall and hard into the inside. Car comes off the ground. Comes to rest right there along the inside barrier and able to drive away, but heavy damage added to that race car as the field working towards pit lane. Mindless Pursuit 83, also want to thank you for the follow earlier today. And cheering on Chris Samard right now. As Samard running in that 4th position. Is anyone going to try 2 tires? Does anyone do anything different to pry this lead away from AJ Stravato? That could be a break for Eric Hutton, who will get at least 1 spot back by passing up Nick Gardner. And he could get another one if Jordan Shepler's car does not survive the rest of the race. And also, he'll be back on the lead lap, I think. As Hatchell, a good pit stop, and Gemmel as well, just not quite able to win that battle off. But so close at the line. Let's get another view of it here. Just about a half car length between those two. Then Hatchell 3rd. I think Samard 4th. Mark Emerson 5th. Dennis Faircloth's going to be 6th now with the fresh tires. We'll see if he's got anything. Looked pretty quick there for those first couple of laps. Now Seth Hatchell in striking distance. Is he going to have a shot at this? Even with the damage on the back of that race car. The top 5 made up of LDR and Team V-Speed. 3 V-Speed drivers, 2 LDR drivers. And then it's Dennis Faircloth, Justin Carey, Dallas Sullivan, Nick Starling, and Timmy Emanuele, the top 10. You can see that up there on the ticker. It'll be 9 to go next time. I think we'll get the 1 to green. And it is going to be on from there. I could not tell you who is going to win this race. AJ Stravato's been so strong here in this last little bit. But Ryan Gemmel had some speed there. He closed up, just couldn't get there. But he's had speed. Hatchell was the fastest car for a bit of this race as well. Chris Samard's been solid. Mark Emerson has had a very up and down day along with Dennis Faircloth. But it is anybody's game. We've seen mistakes on these restarts cost drivers the race lead. Stravato will take the inside and Ryan Gemmel to his outside. Stravato with control. That inside lane usually a bit easier to get the pedal to the metal. The outside is very easy to spin tires, especially with this slow downforce package and the high horsepower. We do want to thank you so much for tuning in here tonight. If you're interested in watching more races on V-Speed, hit that follow button or subscribe. We would really appreciate it. You can also check us out on all these different social media outlets to stay updated with what we're doing throughout the week. We will be switching to YouTube and Facebook broadcasts starting in early May for all of our league broadcasts and special events and other things. We'll stay on Twitch. Pace car off of pit lane, or onto pit lane rather, and green flag back in the air. AJ Stravato gets him going, and Ryan Gemmel didn't get the best of restarts, but it might be enough to pull down in front of his teammate Seth Hatchell, and it is. Can Ryan get up there? and really challenge for this race win. He closes up a couple car lengths through turn number 2. And they are battling behind Dennis Faircloth, Justin Carey, and others. But the battle is going to be on for the race lead. Are they going to be able to all hang on? Oh, Hatchell, big wiggle right there, but he closes up on his teammate. Through 1 and 2 again, Gemmel really pushing that race car. He is closed up to 1/10 of a second. Mark Emerson under pressure from Justin Carey. I think Mark might have tagged the wall. And Gemmel within a car length. He's been second multiple times this year. Can he break through and get the race win? He is right there. He could use the bumper. It means moving on to the next round. And he is almost there. So close to the back bumper of the 48. Not quite able to keep up out of turn 4. Loses the car length down the front stretch. And they are all pushing so hard. Stravato guiding the way for these top 3. And Gemmel driving it in deep. We've got a car slow. That is Dennis Faircloth, who's got a destroyed race car. Oh, he got into it with Justin Carey. Dallas Sullivan able to avoid. And the 80 up across the nose of the 44 and around. No yellow for that. And he's going to park it on pit lane, and his night is over. But the battle for the race win is not over yet. Gemmel, a little bit of connection problem there. He's going to get passed up by his teammate Seth Hatchell. And Seth may be looking for some payback here. He got pushed out of the race lead earlier. Will he repay the favor for these two that usually race each other so cleanly? They've been very aggressive on both fronts. And Seth in this dirty air gonna have a hard time. 2 laps to go. AJ Stravato looking for race win number 6 this season. And he has done everything he is needed to win this race. It'll be the white flag this time by if he can hang on just for 4 more corners. Seth Hatchell closing in. He's going to really send it into 1 and 2. Up the racetrack, he drifts. I don't think it's going to be enough. He's really going to have to get the best corners of his life, and AJ Stravato just too far out in front. Hatchell sends it in, can't get it done. AJ Stravato is going to win again in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. This time, Nashville's next with Benny 200 at Dover to the 48 car. He'll get a congratulatory, I would say bump, but more of a spin, and then also a bit of a tap there. And that leads into a burnout. Kind of an interesting celebration. Ooh, a little bit of contact a little farther back there. Not sure. Maybe just a little bit of playfulness, but AJ Stravato started 5th. He leads 61 laps on his way to victory tonight. That is going to be the most laps led, I believe. Or maybe just a little bit less than Seth Hatchell. Not exactly sure. But 6th win of the season for that 48 car, who has been so dominant. Once again this year, the regular season champion. And he's locked into round number 3. We're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back with the post-race interviews.
Simulators Anonymous is an online gaming community. The heart of this community is playing simulator-style games, everything from driving, farming, flying to the occasional survival game. We would love for you to join us. If you play these style of games, or if you're just looking for a great community, we strive to be a community you can be an active participant in by offering events like every 3rd Saturday night is a late night trucking on Truckers MP. We have a very own Minecraft server and with other servers starting soon. Come join Simulators Anonymous today at www.simulatorsanonymous.com.
happening? The baby's coming.
Okay, I'm on the way.
Hey, buddy, you ready for the big game?
You're gonna be there, right, Dad?
Pal, you can count on me. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hey, honey, Josh's flight landed early. He'll be about 6:30. Can you make it?
Okay. I'm on my way.
We've got total gridlock out there this afternoon.
The average American spends over 40 hours a year, nearly 2 full days, stuck in traffic on our broken roads and bridges, while our lives move full speed ahead. It doesn't have to be this way.
Where is he?
Husband's on his way.
It's time for Washington to get America moving again by finally funding our country's infrastructure.
Where's Mom?
Tell Washington to fund America's infrastructure, because life won't wait.
And we are back at the racetrack now. Let's see if we can pull in the race winner. AJ Stravato, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, AJ, you've done it again. It looked like, maybe you didn't have the race-winning car. You get in position, and you take advantage. You lead, I believe, the last 61 laps and drive off into the sunset there at the end. And you advance to round number 3. How does it feel to win here at Dover?
I had to work my rear end off to do it. I'll tell you what, but yeah, it feels pretty dang good. I'm just glad I can get that out of the way so I can help my teammates, especially in Talladega in these next couple of tracks, and get some laps in with them and really help them advance to the round of 8. So that's really cool. But Dover's one of my favorite tracks. I think it's, you can approach it in so many different ways. And today I definitely focused more on, I think, short run speed because of the short stages. And I think it definitely showed at some points when we got in the long run, but just feels good to win here. Definitely one of the tighter setups, especially in the corner. So you had to really manage a couple different things, but it made for a fun race. Just really hard to pass in dirty air, but luckily we were able to have a nice little charge through the field there after speeding and able to bring it home.
Yeah, definitely a great recovery. We weren't sure exactly what had happened, but it looked like probably speeding penalty is what put you back there. So definitely impressive to drive up through and take advantage of the situation and hold on to that race lead. Some fast drivers tonight giving you challenges there. But Indianapolis is where we're headed next week. So what are your thoughts on that track?
Just as long as I continue to drive the way I'm doing, I think we'll be all right. Indy's definitely one of my better, I think, tracks on the oval side of things. I think it's a different approach, but it's going to be really hard to pass, so we just got to make sure we start up front, take advantage of track position, which was the complete opposite thing of pretty much what we were chasing all day today, getting in here late, having computer problems. Didn't get, I don't think, a single lap in until qualifying, so as long as we can avoid doing that and, race clean, will be all right. But I also want to give an apology to Seth. I know we made, I think, contact around 140, but I had to go, and we made a little bit of contact. I'm sure he's upset with me, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Just racing for wins and racing hard. But that was a lot of fun, and hopefully next week we can repeat the same.
Yeah, definitely a lot of hard racing out there. Not just up for the race lead, but throughout the pack, with it being so hard to pass. Really looked like everybody was trying to take everything they could if there was any opening, and it looked like, just a race, kind of a really hard racing deal, I'd say. Some drivers might back out in that scenario, but others, you had the position, I'd say. So, yeah, definitely, he obviously recovered up to second, and I think you guys will live to see many more battles over the remainder of the season.
Yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah. Definitely some of the best driving out here for sure. And you come away with the win after starting 5th, 61 laps led, your 6th victory of the year. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just obviously all the league sponsors, yourself and V-Speed, obviously, my teammates, American Trucking Association, Below the WL podcast, and Boston Bulls, my trading group. Told them I'd get as many wins as I could. Shout them out every time. So it's pretty cool to do that. Hope they enjoyed it if anybody was watching. And like I said, just looking forward to these next couple of weeks. Hopefully we can get some good practice in before the next round. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. And you're moving on. So we will catch you next week at Indianapolis. with really no pressure on your shoulders. Good win tonight, and we'll catch you then.
Appreciate you, brother. You have a great night, man.
Thank you. As AJ Servato race winner tonight at Dover, let's go to second place finisher Seth Hatchell. See if we can pull him into the booth here. Seth Hatchell, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Seth, I know it's not really how you wanted it to end here. Very quick race car. We talked to you earlier, and you had figured some things out, and intense battle there for the race lead with AJ. Didn't go, I'm sure, how you expected it to. Kind of give us a rundown of what happened there and your recovery to get back up to second place.
I'm not real sure what happened there. I haven't watched it, and to be honest, I don't really plan on going back and watching. I just gotta do a better job of staying out ahead and not getting slowed down by lap traffic, and then got caught up there. And I saved it, and I still thought I had decent speed. I guess it's just because we were on older tires, and then went to pit, and of course caution came out right then, and I was debating whether or not I should stay and take tires or just roll through. But taking tires, I would have been, I don't know, a lap down at least. I don't know if I would have gotten the lucky dog. And then unfortunately I got a wave around instead of the lucky dog, which in this case was worse because I wasn't able to pit under the caution. I had to stay out on those older tires, and we got that caution towards the end. I was able to make up a couple spots, but just not able to quite get back to AJ there. Just needed a couple more laps.
Yeah, the margin of victory just a little over a tenth of a second. So, I mean, you gave him a run for his money, and having to recover from that was definitely tough. I've been through the same situation here at Dover, and it's really hard to come through the field, especially with such little time remaining. But impressive performance to open up round number 2 of the playoffs. And we go to Indianapolis. I know you're very good there as well. So what are your thoughts on going out there and trying to carry some momentum through this round?
Yeah, Indy will be interesting. Dirty air is going to be huge there. Just trying to get track position, and tires probably won't mean a ton there. I believe we're running the high downforce package, so you'll probably see guys really making some bold strategies to get towards the front because tires won't mean as much. So just kind of playing it like a super speedway way, just trying to get to the front and stay up front.
Yeah, and we'll see if that's going to be what happens. Starting off the round, though, second place finish after starting 10th. You lead the most laps with 84. I wasn't sure what the exact number was until it popped up here, but you do get that bonus, so that's definitely a benefit, and put yourself in a good spot to try and advance here with these next couple of races. But second place run, anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got to thank you, Adam. Doing a great job with the broadcast. All the sponsors of this league, and tonight's sponsor, forgive me, I don't know it off the top of my head, but all of them for let us doing this every week. Nick and all the admins doing a good job running the league, all the drivers, and my team V-Speed.
Awesome, Seth. Well, congrats on a second place run. I know it's not where you wanted, but still a great performance tonight, and we'll catch you next week.
Yep, thanks.
All right. That is Seth Hatchell. Obviously, I think a bit disappointed. Kind of hear it there. But a very solid run nonetheless. I think he will put himself in a good spot to advance if he does not get a win over the next couple weeks. Next on the board here is Ryan Gamble. Ryan, you got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, Ryan, you start third, you finish third, and you were up there running about third all race long. You had a couple opportunities late in this one to maybe grab the lead away. It seemed like the dirty air really played a big factor, though, in trying to get up to the race leader. Was there anything you could have done in kind of these last few laps here to make something happen?
I guess maybe just give AJ the bumper earlier. I thought I had more time. I was on him, and I was ready to do it. I was just waiting to click a few more laps off, and then Seth got to the inside of me, and we were side by side for a while, and it kind of killed both of our momentum, and he drove away with it. So I'm not sure what we're going to have to do, but we got to do something to keep him from getting in victory lane and start getting more of our cars in victory lane, especially myself. I mean, hats off to AJ. He's a hell of a racer, no doubt, but I mean, if we want to win this thing too, we got to figure something out because he's got an advantage for sure right now.
Yeah, definitely has that mountain or that huge pile of playoff points, and moving on to round 3 already, pretty much a lock, I think, for the Final Four. We were saying throughout the broadcast, though, a couple times how you've been one of the most consistent all season long, and that proved itself again here. Another podium finish, or top 5, top 10 finish. It's just it's week in and week out. Does that give you confidence? Looking forward through this round, knowing you'll most likely advance and have a good shot at getting to that Final Four.
Yeah, in a way it does, but I mean it's the playoffs. It's crunch time. You got to start clicking off wins if you want to make it deep. So I gotta just get something figured out. I need to start leading more laps and getting some wins because it's not going to happen without it. So not racing against these guys.
Yeah, I think you're knocking on the door, and you got an opportunity next week. We're going to Indianapolis. What are your thoughts on going out there?
I haven't raced at Indianapolis in probably 3 or 4 years, and I don't know if I've ever touched it with this package, so it's going to be all new to me. I'm assuming it's going to be, the leader has the big advantage and a lot of slingshots and slide drafting down the big straightaways and just trying to stay out front, I guess. But we'll see. I'll try and get some practice in and see if we can't be up front again next week and make something happen.
Yes, sir. You've been in contention week in and week out, and I think you're knocking on the door for a race win. So definitely, keep up the momentum. You're putting yourself in good points positions here with this finish tonight. So 3rd place after starting in 3rd, a good run. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to NASHVILLE'S Next with Benny for sponsoring the race, American Trucking Association for coming on board, sponsoring the league, you for the great job you do up in the booth, and everyone back at V-Speed and all the fans that came out to watch.
Awesome, Ryan. Well, congrats on a 3rd place, and we'll catch up with you real soon after the race.
Yep, thanks, Adam.
All right. That is Ryan Gemmel, 3rd place finisher. And let's go through the rest of our results. AJ Stravato, the race winner, of course. We pull up those race results. Stravato winning in what was a very clean race until really the last 50 laps. We had a few cautions kind of, spring up there. And only 2 lead changes. It was Keith Mayato losing the lead to Seth Hatchell. And then Seth Hatchell losing the lead to AJ Stravato. Very hard to make a pass on the race leader, and ultimately that's what worked out for AJ, leading the last 60 or so laps and taking home the race win, his 6th of the season. Behind him, Seth Hatchell in 2nd, Ryan Gemmel in 3rd, very close there at the end, and then a little distance back, Mark Emerson in 4th. He got by Chris Samard, who finishes in 5th. Nick Starling finishes 6th, Dallas Sullivan 7th, Justin Carey 8th, Timmy Emanuele finishes in 9th, and Safe Fair is able to recover for a top 10. In 11th position, it was Alan Dice. 12th was the 70 machine of Lyle Sulfridge. 13th was Jeremiah Vincent. 14th, Eric Hutton. 15th, Dennis Faircloth, who got involved late, but had a pretty solid second half of the event. Just didn't pay off for him there in the late going. Jordan Shepler finishes 16th. Nick Gardner 17th. Dale Glessner 18th. Dennis Steele 19th. And Keith Mayato finishes in the 20th position. That could be a hit for him in the standings, though he did win stage 1 and finish 2nd in stage 2, so that will help. 21st was Lane Sulfridge. 22nd, Eric Lambert. 23rd, Jordan Brickell. 24th, Kyle Payne. And rounding out the field here tonight, Nathaniel Ostrowski, who brought it behind the wall early. And 25 drivers in tonight's race. 6 cautions, pretty good race tonight here. Not the most passing we've ever seen. Not the most exciting or the least exciting, but it was a pretty clean race. You got to give it to these guys for putting on a good show for us here late in the going, especially. And we'll be back next week on Wednesday with the Virtual Racing League. Won't want to miss that right here on Twitch. And then next Thursday, we'll be back with Below the Double Yellow Cup Series at Indianapolis. And you can find those race announcements on Facebook and Twitter. You can also find us on the other social media outlets you see on your screen. You can check us out at vspeedsim.com to see how we can take your iRacing experience to the next level. And I want to thank everyone who tuned in here for your support tonight and all season long as well. We will be jumping in with somebody here to end the night. We'll go with Mr. David Schildhouse. And I want to thank you so much again, and we will catch you all next week.